What is Batman supposed to do if the Wayne name is being tarnished? This is the Comicstorian channel, where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be continuing our coverage of Detective Comics. This has been written by quite a few writers out there, but Detective Comics is generally single Batman storylines, and while sometimes they have their own through line through the storylines, it's just a way for DC to tell Batman storylines that are not affected by the overarching stuff going on in comic books right now. So today we're going to tell you a single story, a Batman detective storyline called Cold Vengeance. Just know that at this time, Damian is still Robin, and Lucius Fox is helping out with Batman. Alright, let's get into the story. A long time ago, a young Bruce Wayne was sitting in a tree not wanting to eat. His mother Martha came out asking what he was doing up there. Didn't he hear her calling for him? Bruce told her that he didn't want to go. They make him sad. Martha climbs up, sitting beside him, telling him that she knows. Orphanages make her sad as well. But that's why they're so important. These children have so little, while they have so much. Every child deserves what they have, to have people love them. Until they can find them a family, they will keep them safe, protect them, care for them, show them that they are worth caring for. The Martha Wayne Orphanage was a happy and special place to be. Now it's dark and cold, a place where sometimes even the children run away. One night while going through some chatter online about explosions, Lucius Fox came to Batman with a concern. You see, the night before, a 15-year-old boy by the name of Miguel Flores ran away. Batman says that it happens sometimes. Troubled teens run away all the time, but he'll look into it. Lucius tells him that this isn't the first time from this particular orphanage. By his count, it's the third in this year, and while it may not be the highest priority to Batman, Batman turns in his chair. I said I'll investigate the orphanage tonight, while I'm on patrol. I can access the office's end. Lucius stops him. Actually, it's your orphanage. It's named after your mother. It may not be exactly how you operate, but given that your name is on the building, you could actually visit without sneaking in through a window. Maybe you could even make yourself presentable. Take something for the kids. The next morning, Batman visits the orphanage, but not as Batman, but rather as Bruce Wayne. Bruce meets with the orphanage director, Peter Morrison, telling him that he isn't quite sure what to bring the children, so he bought them equipment and supplies for a new science and art center, and an ice cream truck. Peter laughs, stating that he brought education and camouflaged it with sugar. Very clever, Mr. Wayne. This is all very generous, but I'm afraid that we might not be able to accommodate it all. Bruce tells him, of course, sorry. If there isn't enough room, I'll have to build another wing then. But there is something that is bothering him. A child ran away last night. Peter tells him, yes, Miguel. We're all a little worried. Bruce asks if there could be any particular reason the child ran away, and Peter tells him that he wishes he knew, but sometimes this kind of thing happens, especially with the older ones. When they realize that it's unlikely, well... Bruce asks if he can look at the security footage, and when he looks at it, he notices something very specific about Miguel. He looks scared. Peter says that it was a pretty big jump off the wall that he's climbing, and Bruce tells him, yes, it is. So later that night, Batman calls Damian, and Damian asks if he knows the boy. Bruce tells him no. So Damian tells him, so, you're okay to put some effort in for a kid you don't even know, but not, you know what? Forget it. Bruce tells him that he's sorry that he hasn't had time for his son. The city is in danger, and that requires his full attention, but it's getting colder, and somewhere out there, a scared child needs their help. Damian asks, you want me to help find the kid because you're worried an already scared kid might not react so well to being chased by a giant bat? Sure. But if we're going to talk about these orphanages, it's a bit disconcerting that you own whole buildings full of potential backup Robins. So Damian took to the streets gathering information while Batman remained focused on taking down the bad guys. It started as a couple of days and then a couple of weeks, all while Gotham grew colder and colder. But finally, when it seemed like it was all for nothing, Damian did find Miguel. He radioed back stating that he found him, but they're going to need help. Like, now. Batman races over in the Batmobile, running out of the car with Damian telling him, I got a tip from some women in a shelter, but Miguel. Batman hurries over to pick up the child out of the snow, and Damian asks, what do you want me to do now? Batman tells him, nothing. You did well. Go home. As Batman sits Miguel in the car, Damian says that he doesn't want to leave him. And once the two of them have Miguel secure, Batman tells Damian to notify Gotham General that they're coming. Soon Miguel begins to groan and Batman asks, "Can you hear me?" Miguel mutters cold. Batman tells him, "I know." But Miguel then asks, "Are you taking me back? I don't want to." Batman tells him, "No, we're not. We're going to get you help. Just keep talking. Everything will be okay." You're not scary. Like they said, I'm sorry. For what? My new favorite superhero. It's Superman. I'll let you in on a little secret. Superman's my favorite too. Damian then asks why did he run, and Miguel tells him that place, it wasn't finding parents for all the kids. Some kids just disappeared. He wanted to escape before he disappeared too. He wanted to stop it from happening. He wanted to protect the other kids. He wanted to help. He didn't know who to tell, who to trust, who'd believe him. Grown-ups never believe. It's okay, I believe you. And we're gonna find those missing kids. You protected them. I saved them? Yeah, you saved them, Miguel. He begins to cry, and when Damian looks over, he notices Miguel's not breathing. Batman rushed into the hospital where the doctors try to bring him back, but it's too late. So later that night, Batman wraps his hands as he hits the punching bag in the cave, and Lucius comes down asking if he was able to save the city. Yes. And the boy as well? Batman hits the bag harder. After another hit, Batman looks at him. The orphanage records. There's no sign of foul play. There's a thorough follow-up with each of the adopted families. The records are meticulous. Not a single discrepancy. Every child. Batman takes off his mask and Lucius asks, what is it? He tells Lucius to wake Damian and get to the car. But Lucius points over at the Batmobile, telling him that it's right there. And Batman tells him, no, the other car. Later that morning, Bruce and Damian go to the orphanage, and Bruce tells him to wait out here for the police to arrive. He goes inside, and Peter asks, what is going on? Bruce tells him, come with me to your office. As the door closes, Bruce sets down a file stating, you keep very good records. Measurements, weights, histories, allergies, injuries, academic and social progress for every child. You track them for years after. Peter tells him that he isn't sure how he got those records, but while none of this would be possible without him, that information is supposed to be confidential, Mr. Wayne. Bruce tells him, only, this isn't every child. I don't understand. But he's interrupted as the sound of police sirens begin to grow. Peter asks why are the police here, and Bruce tells him, they're here for you. The records were perfect for every child, but it came down to the numbers. These children, there are no records for these children at all. They have no names, they've disappeared. These children don't exist. Bruce begins to circle some of the children on the photos on the wall, and Peter stutters, please, you have to understand. I never wanted to hurt them, but these people, they came with the money first, and then the threats, and I couldn't say no to them, I had no choice. Before he could finish, Bruce turns, punching him. Damian whispers, you realize you're not wearing the mask, right? Bruce tells him that it's not Batman's name on the building. It's the Wayne name. It's our name. These are Wayne children. They're my responsibility. These are children that I have failed. We're going to track down every missing child, and we're going to punish every single person who took them. And 2 months later, the Martha Wayne orphanage wasn't cold anymore. The children inside were protected. Bruce was going to show them that they care for them. And the Miguel Flores Science and Arts Center is the first step to that. And there you have it, a fun little detective Batman storyline. This is actually one of my favorites, and it's written by one of my favorite writers, Tom Taylor, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, if you want to hear the continuations of the Detective Comics line, let me know in the comments down below, and we'll be getting more to it on our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian. Even if you guys don't want it on YouTube, I'm going to be uploading them over to Patreon, but don't worry, I'm not stupid. I'm going to assume 90% of the people here want more Batman, so it will be eventually coming to the YouTube channel. So go check us out at patreon.com/Comicstorian, or just wait patiently and check back daily for the next Batman Detective Comics issue. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.